Welcome to 211 Connecticut's Transportation Resources webinar. My name is Annie Scully. I work here in our Community Results Center.
Hello, this is Kate Quigley. I'm our Lead Resource Specialist and Project Manager with United Way of Connecticut 211's Information Department.
This is the fourth webinar in our Fall 2019 webinar series. If you're interested in tuning into our next webinar, it will be Thursday, November 7th at 10 a.m. and focus on some of the most frequently asked questions to 211 Connecticut. We'll show you how to register for that webinar later on today. So today we're going to focus on transportation resources in Connecticut and start by giving you a general overview of 211 Connecticut, talk about some of our top transportation service requests and referrals made in FY19, fiscal year 19, and then provide a live web demonstration to show you how you can navigate through our 211ct.org website to find resources on your own. So 211 Connecticut is a free, confidential information referral service that connects people to essential health and human services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, online, over the phone, and via chat. So you can dial 211 at any time, 24/7. You can chat with us Tuesday through Friday between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m., and you can utilize www.211ct.org at any time to find programs and services to help meet your needs. So in fiscal year 2019, 211 Connecticut contact specialists received more than 3,800 transportation-related service requests. As you can see from the top 10 chart below, our non-emergency medical transportation service requests were by far our top request for service. Below medical transportation was disability-related transportation, local bus services, senior ride programs, discount transit passes, transportation expense assistance, automobiles, taxi fare, ride-sharing programs, and then our general paratransit and community ride programs. On the right side of the screen, you'll notice that we also have significant web traffic on our www.211ct.org website from people that were searching for transportation resources. Much like our call data, medical appointment transportations were the #1 search term on our website with nearly 3,000 searches in FY19. When individuals dial 211 and speak to a contact specialist, our contact specialists, based on the needs they present, make referrals to community programs and services. So on the left side of the screen are our most referred transportation resources in FY19. You'll see that VEO, which is a non-emergency medical transportation services, was our top referral. So Connecticut's Department of Social Services has a contract with VEO to provide that non-emergency medical transportation for Husky A, C, and D recipients. And in FY19, 211 CT contact specialists made 1,330 referrals to VEO. Our second most referred resource was Access Line. So Access Line works with Columbus House and the Intercommunity Recovery Centers to provide transportation for people who are without an independent means of transportation and do not require transportation by ambulance when they're seeking medically monitored detox. This resource is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, including holidays, much like our 211 service. Access Line also provides transportation to other levels of care during more traditional business hours between 8 a.m. and midnight. And in FY19, 422 referrals were made to Access Line. Our third most referred resource was Dial-A-Ride. And Dial-A-Ride provides senior and disability transportation and is offered at the local transportation level to individuals that are either a senior or that have a disability. And eligibility and the scope of services can vary between municipalities for some other senior ride and disability-related transportations, but Dial-A-Ride is a statewide service. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about some of the transportation data and some of the top referrals that were made, we recently put out our 2019 Transportation Barometer. The Department of Transportation provides 211 Connecticut with very generous funding to help us maintain our maintain our database of resources related to transportation services, but also to provide this specialized publication, which is the Transportation Barometer. So I'm going to go ahead and show you very quickly how to navigate to that Transportation Barometer on our 211 Connecticut website. So if you visit www.211ct.org, you'll see at the very top there's a tab or a button that says Professionals. If you click on Professionals, it will bring you to this page, and you'll see a link to Publications and Reports. Scrolling down, you'll see that under our 2-in-1 barometer, the top link is for the 2019 Transportation Barometer, which came out just this October. So in this Transportation Barometer, you'll see that it reviews some of the most common transportation service requests, calculates the percentage of unmet transportation needs, provides a breakdown of data by regional councils of government, and identifies transportation resources listed in our 2-in-1 database. And the report is intended to give planners and stakeholders an indication of how well transportation needs are being met and use the tool for future resource planning. So this is the front page or the first page of our 2-in-1 Transportation Barometer. If you scroll through, you'll see that in addition to talking about our service requests, we also highlight some of the resources that are available within our database and talk about the importance of maintaining that database. You'll see some additional stats and statistics related to our web traffic and our call traffic related to transportation service requests and needs. And then all the way at the back of the report, you'll see that we've broken down our transportation resource requests by council of government. So that allows local leaders to take a look at what the needs, the most pressing transportation needs are in their communities. So we do that for all of our regions of government. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about what's going on in your communities, you can go ahead and you can download that publication and take some time to review it on your own. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump back to our homepage and turn it over to Kate to continue to walk you through how to navigate our 2-in-1 website.
Thanks, Annie. So some of you may be familiar with our website already, and some of you may be beginners. So what I'll do for this is walk us through a few different ways to find resources on our website. We have 4,000 agencies and 40,000 programs in our database. So for the sake of today, we're just going to focus on the transportation-related resources, but just know that if there are other needs that you or your clients have, that we have quite a wide range of options through the 201ct.org website. What I'm going to start with is right here under Search Resources in Connecticut. If you just click on this box, what you're going to see are several suggested searches, and these are based upon need, and these are actually true accounts of the types of calls that we receive through the 201 Contact Center. So when someone calls us, our staff ask how they can help, and a person may say, I need transportation. So this is a really wide look at all of the resources under that particular need. So I'm going to choose that. And then I'm actually going to plug in a zip code. This is best practice to put in a zip code when you're searching, unless you want a statewide look. If I kept this blank, it would be a statewide look at all of these resources. So Google recognizes what I'm plugging in. I'm going to choose Middletown and hit search. So just with this one need, I need transportation for someone in Middletown. I have 36 results total within 9 categories. And those are right here. These are all of our, what we call our taxonomy terms, or our service terms that are associated with each individual program record in this master list. And so let's say that this 36 is too big of a number and you want to try to whittle this down a little bit. We have a few ways that you can do that on our website. The first is this prompt here, show advanced filters. So I'm going to expand this, and there's a lot of different ways to filter things on our website, by gender, by age, by day of the week, if a service is open or not on a particular day. For the sake of this, we're going to use what we call our target populations right here. I'm going to choose veterans and then click filter results. And you'll see from that original list, it now breaks it down just to one result at the organization known as the Disabled American Veterans. They have a transportation program specific for veterans. So we're only going to target something if it's just serving that unique population. So I'm going to go back to the filters. I'm going to take veterans off. I'm going to do a different search now for Medicaid recipients. And this is going to bring us to the resource that Annie already mentioned a couple moments ago for VEO, which is the medical transportation for clients on Husky A, C, or D for statewide services. So that's just one way to filter these results. I'm going to go back and take off the Medicaid recipients and then do filter again. I want to get back to that 36 original results. And then let's just say I want to whittle these down a little bit. Just know that you can do that. So you're not working with seniors or you're not a senior yourself. I'm going to take that off. And that didn't change anything, so that means all of these are somewhat related. I'm going to take off ride sharing, a little bit of a drop, and then I'm going to take away disability-related transportation, and then it really does drop it down significantly when we start to take away some of these terms. So just know that you can do that as a way to get the big picture first and then narrow it down as you see fit. All right, I'm going to go back to our homepage here. And the second way I want to show you is through our categories. So if you scroll just a little bit down on the homepage, we have all of these categories here right up front on the homepage. We're going to choose transportation. And we have modified these slightly to make them hopefully a little bit more user-friendly in that we're asking questions up front to help you figure out what actual service you are looking for. So do you need a ride to a doctor's appointment? Or are you an older adult or an individual with a disability? There may be a service in your area. Click here. Then we can look at some of the transit options. And let's say we're looking for a shared transportation option, which might include a van pool, a carpool, or a shared ride taxi service. I'm going to choose this one, ride sharing programs. So when you start at the categories and then you get your results, it's always going to be a statewide look. So this is always going to default to Connecticut. So statewide, there are only 6 ride-sharing programs. I'm going to go back to the Middletown zip code and see if that changes things. It does not. So just know if the statewide look is too big, then you can always narrow down here by putting in any zip code, a city, a town, or even an address. So let's just say that these 6 results are something that are of interest to you. You can add this entire page of results to a list. So when we say list, you can do a temporary list, or what you can do is sign up for a My 211 account, and we can show you how to do that towards the close of the webinar. We are actually logged into our 211 account already. So what happens when I add the page results to a list is it's going to ask if I want to create a new list or select an existing list. So I'm going to say ride sharing and create a list. And you see all 6 of those go right onto your list. So you can stop searching here. You can add a different search. I'm going to type in the word bus because I want to know the bus services that cover Middletown. And what we have now are both, just so you know, so we can keep this list growing. So Middletown Transit District covers this area for the bus services. And what I'm going to show you is just some of the quick details of this particular record, so you know that there's a lot more in there to look at in terms of eligibility and service area and whatnot. And let's say you work for Middletown Transit and you notice that we have something wrong here. Maybe the address is different. Please tell us, and even if you don't work for Middletown Transit and you know something might be wrong, please tell us, because we want to know if there are changes to these records. We can make these changes quickly, but we just need to know about them. So update this listing gives you 2 options. If you're signed into the My 211 account, you can submit a note. So let's say the transit district had to close for an emergency at the facility. You could actually publish a note to say that so the public would see that that was happening at your facility. If you just want to suggest an edit, that's where you would click this and just tell us what's up. Tell us that the address has changed, the phone number has changed, whatever it might be, just let us know. That comes to my department and we act on these very, very quickly. All right, I want to continue with my adding to a list, so I'm actually going to click it right from here. I'm going to choose a list, ride sharing, add. All right, so we see the functionality of the My 211 account. I also want to show you if you needed to get directions. Let's say you had to send someone down to the transit district to get a bus, right? You could click Get Directions, and this goes right into the Google Map where you can choose a starting point. I'm going to put in an address that I know is in Middletown at one of the shelters. And just make sure that Google recognizes it, which it does. And then you can obviously get regular driving directions, but a lot of folks that live in cities perhaps do not have a car. So they may be walking. So you can choose walking. Looks like it might take 32 minutes walking to get to this location. Biking. So these are tools that you can use right at your fingertips for free to help navigate around some of these resources if people are on the ground and needing to know how to get to a particular location. So we just wanted to make sure that we showed you that. And then what I'm also going to do is just scroll down to this one here at CT Rides, and I'm going to think about how I might want to share this. This one resource by itself, I could send it as a text, I could send it as an email, I could print it, but I think what I want to do is I want to actually add it to my list. And then we can look at our list here going up to the My 211 account button, choosing our resource list, and you will see if we open the list, it's going to just give you everything that you've added in there. These lists can be as long as you want. So if you want to add 100 resources into this list or make them specific for a client or a different topic or a different area, you have the power to do that. And then when you're done and you're satisfied with your list, you can print it. Again, you can email or text the entire list, or you can copy the link, and that might be something nice to put on your own website or within a newsletter that you send out, or even just emailing your staff, hey, here's the resources for transportation in Middletown. So those are all of the tools that you have available right from our website. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pass it back to Annie to give a little bit more information.
Thanks, Kate. So hopefully that provided you guys with a really great overview of how to utilize our website to navigate through some various programs and services that can help meet your individual transportation needs or the needs of the transportation needs of the people that you work with. Before I jump back to the slide deck to cover a couple more topics, I want to just quickly point out at the very top of the screen, you'll see 211 Connecticut offers free fall webinar series. And if you're interested in signing up for another webinar, you click on that banner and you'll see that the next one being offered is the frequently asked questions one. So you can click right there to register. I'm going to jump back into our slide deck and spend a little bit of time talking about our unmet needs related to transportation service requests. So a request for service is classified as unmet when a 211 contact specialist, so the individual that picks up the phone every time you dial 211, is not able to refer a caller to a program or service that satisfies that need. In FY19, the most common reason for an unmet transportation service request was that there was no program found to meet the caller's need. And if you look to the right of the screen, you'll probably recognize this chart, which is where we started at the beginning of this presentation. You'll see there's a few stars. So these were the service requests that had the highest level of unmet need in FY19. So we see discount transit passes, transportation expense assistance, requests for automobiles, meaning help paying for an automobile or fixing an automobile, and then those general paratransit or community ride programs, which we know can be helpful for individuals that maybe have an off-work schedule and don't meet those regular local bus and transit hours when they're trying to navigate how to get to and from work, or how to provide transportation for individuals when they have off hours. So the reason that we want to point these out to you is because these are largely recognized as unmet needs, not only statewide but community level, and we're hoping that if your organization offers transportation resources that are not listed in the 211 database currently, that you please let us know so that we can do a better job of updating that database and making sure we're making referrals to those programs to better serve your communities.
And I would also just like to add that even if you don't work for an organization that has these types of resources, if you know of ones in your community and you know that they are not in our database at all, please let us know that. You can just give us the tip and we'll research it and we'll contact the organizations too. So.
Thanks, Kate. That's a really good point. So of our 618 unmet service requests related to transportation, 65% were unmet because there was no program available. So just to reinforce the importance of letting us know about any local or community level programs you have that might help to sort of fill those gaps. That's one of the objectives of our transportation barometer, was to unveil some of those gaps in services and sort of do a brainstorm of how we can better meet the needs of Connecticut residents. So we know that transportation touches many aspects of a person's life, and adequate and reliable transportation services are fundamental to healthy communities. That's actually a quote that came out of the American Hospital Association publication titled Transportation and the Role of Hospitals. So many of you are probably familiar with the term social determinants of health, and transportation is largely recognized as one of the greatest deterrents to leading a healthy life, because individuals that aren't able to get to a doctor's appointment or get to a grocery store to buy food if they live in a community that's not near a walkable grocery store, it's super important that we provide resources to connect those individuals. In addition, we know that individuals that work off hours are largely met with a transportation need, and if they don't have a car, it's often difficult to navigate to work or to get their children to childcare during those off-business hours. So a report that came out recently called Working in the Service Sector in Connecticut, which was conducted by Berkeley University's SHIFT project, revealed that 65% of Connecticut's service sector workers work irregular hours or variable work schedules. And of those 65, 50% work opening shifts, which means that they close a business location at night and then have to be right back to return the following morning, and that 25% of workers are on call, which means that their need for transportation, so the need for a ride, or the need to get to work can come out of nowhere if they get that call to go into work. So we're just reinforcing that it's super important that as a state and as a community level providers, we do our best to kind of fill those needs to provide transportation to programs and services, via programs and services, I should say, so that individuals are able to get where they need to go. So just to kind of wrap things up today, we want to leave you with a few takeaways. So the first is that you can use 211 to find information and resources for individuals seeking help at any time. You can dial 211 to speak with a contact specialist, or you can visit 211ct.org. If you're there to find transportation resources, Kate showed you how to use that keyword search and also gave you an introduction to our transportation category page. If you're interested in downloading the 2019 Transportation Barometer, click right on that link and it will bring you to the most recent edition. We also hope that you understand the benefit of creating a My211 account to start building and saving and sharing those custom resource lists. One of the benefits of using that sort of tool to build your own online directory of programs and services is that every time Kate and her team make an update in our 211 database, those changes are reflected right on your list. We also encourage you to sign up for our 211 Community Connection and our Data Glance. So if you guys do provide us with some new transportation resources, there's a good chance that we'll end up highlighted in our monthly Data Glance, which highlights new additions to our 211 database and provides a live link right into our website to learn more about that new addition. We also hope that you'll visit our 211 Outreach and Training page, where you can access some other recorded webinars such as this one, and also information on upcoming webinars. And then finally, to reinforce the importance of, if your organization is not listed in the 211 database, you can click right on the link on the screen to complete an electronic intake form, or you can email the info department at info@ctunitedway.org. And also, if you realize your information is out of date, you can certainly go ahead and submit changes, or click on the link or email the resource department to submit those changes so we make sure that your information is accurate within our database. And finally, if you're interested in grabbing some free 211 materials, we encourage you to click right on the link here to order some professional materials for free. Thank you so much, and have a great day.
Thank you.